Welcome to Fade or Fly with Mike and the Feather, your weekly football podcast recorded right here in the heart of Sin City. Join Mike and the Feather as they dive into the world of sports bet predictions, game analysis, and serve up a healthy dose of Vegas-style humor. Whether you're looking to ride the winning streak or soar to new heights in your football knowledge, this is the podcast for you. Let's embark on this gridiron adventure together from the entertainment capital of the world.
Hey folks, welcome to the Mike and the Feather Fade or Fly podcast, the first official episode. This is the episode for the beginning of the NFL season, the 2023-2024 season, which is just about 48 hours away, with an intriguing matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions, and the potentially highly favored possible first place division Detroit Lions.
Oh, boy.
As a Packers fan on my left, by the way, I'm Mike, and this is the Feather in case you couldn't tell.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Shots fired right away. We're literally 4 seconds in, and he's already trying to needle me, and it might work.
He's still sore from a couple of Packer losses to the Giants in a number of years ago, but, you know.
Eli Manning needs to send me a Christmas present because he's the reason why he's even has a shot at the Hall of Fame, because he got lucky against the Packers not once but twice, and then pulled a rabbit out of his hat against New England as well. But we won't talk about the past. We're going to be moving forward to the future.
Wait, no, I have a question. Now you brought that up.
Oh, boy.
And then we'll get to the real content.
Here we go.
Eli Manning, first ballot?
Oh, man. Yeah, I guess.
Kind of has to be, given a particular team that was undefeated that he beat. I mean, not many people can say they've done that or beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl. I'll just leave it at that now.
I'm thinking the footage showing something to do with squirrels and nuts, possibly, but
all right, let's get to the real content. Jason, let's just go right to the matchup. We got some breaking news today about an injury on Kansas City that really kind of changes the whole perspective, I think, of the Thursday night game right now.
Travis Kelce is injured. He got injured this morning in practice. It looks like it could be serious, but of course, because I picked him number 7 in one of my big fantasy football drafts, and I was saying this as I picked him. I told my buddy Dan, that's a diehard Chiefs fan, that I basically doomed the Chiefs this year by taking Travis Kelce in the first round. I never have taken that guy in the first or second round pick pretty much in my life. He's a great player, but I just hadn't taken him. And I said, Dan, this is going to be the demise of the Chiefs. And lo and behold, we're not even at week 1 yet.
And you're already 1 for 1, technically.
Yeah.
You already flew at that one. So
if the Broncos fans and Chargers fans want to donate to me, I'll put a link below that you can, making this happen for you guys. Anyway, as far as
opening night.
Well, opening night's going to be interesting. Now Travis Kelce being hurt and everything going on, it's going to change the dynamic quite a bit. Patrick Mahomes, we all know, is an outstanding player, and he made dreams happen last year. I mean, the guy was like gimping around the field, just beat up for the last 3 games of the season, and just found a way. He's gritty. The guy is gritty. I mean, and he's going to need to be gritty this year, because if he has no Travis Kelce, I don't have a lot of confidence in that wide receiving core. I mean, Kadarius Toney, which was a former Giant.
True. A little bit the disappointment for us, but
he was a disappointment. And last year he came aboard, but he was facing injuries, and he can't quite stay healthy on the field, which is a problem. But lots of potential, and if anyone's going to pull out his talent, it's going to be Mr. Patrick Mahomes. Then you got yourself Sky Moore. Sky Moore, young talent, second-round draft pick, rookie last year. This is his second year. And if Travis Kelce, from a fantasy standpoint, goes down, Sky Moore could very well be a 1,000-yard plus receiver, and he's going to need to be for Kansas City to have a shot this year.
Now, Travis's injury is that it's pretty much confirmed something bad did happen. We don't know the extent yet, right? So he's doubtful for Thursday.
He hyperextended his knee. They're going to be doing testing, MRI, everything. Could be anywhere from an ACL full tear to a sprain. It could be he misses it. I think he's going to miss this week. Everything points to him being out this week. We'll see. But as far as the future, your guess is as good as mine. We're waiting for that report just like everybody else. But It's going to affect my pick. It's going to affect the result of what I think this game will be and the end result will be. And in other news, very interesting. We're talking about contracts pertaining to, say, Nick Bosa, right? Nick Bosa is hopefully going to be playing this week for San Francisco. 49er fans are hoping that that's going to get done. It's getting close, but a lot of players are seeming to face this issue this year. Contract situations, and one of the biggest positions that are becoming problematic in the world of contracts is the running back position.
Right.
You know a lot about running backs, seeing how Saquon Barkley just kind of...
Yeah, that was a weird one, too. You got to explain to me one day how that was a better deal for him than just taking the franchise tag, but I guess it's guaranteed money.
Yes, from what I understand, there's some bonuses thrown in there and whatnot, but he was the one that kind of was the first person that finally, got the deal offered to him when there was like 5 or 6 of them that were trying to basically on a conference call talk amongst each other and kind of pick at the NFL. And I have to agree. I mean, running back shelf life is very short. You got to get your money while you can. And when it comes down to it, I can see from the owner standpoint, they pay all this guaranteed money for someone that is a broken down, individual, due to injury. But then again, that's the risk for both sides, and it's tricky, the business aspect of it, whether or not to side of the player or the owners as far as their feelings on the investment, because it's a money business. It's a money business. But one guy that is definitely taking it on the chin is one Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor, I'm going to start it right now myself. Hashtag free Jonathan Taylor. Jim Irsay, you are complete garbage. This guy is just, he takes the taco. First of all, let's just start back to how he treated Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and what does he do? He shits on him. Peyton Manning put the Colts on the map. Literally, first of all, it's Indiana. Not attacking the state of Indiana, but come on. All you guys have is the Colts, and they haven't been good for so many years. Peyton Manning comes aboard, and what happens? He brings them a Super Bowl. But at first sign of Peyton Manning struggling due to an injury, getting his ass kicked, what happens? Jim Irsay discards him like garbage. And that says it all. I mean, if he can do that to Peyton Manning, Jonathan Taylor ain't got a chance. Bottom line is, Jonathan Taylor, he needs to go somewhere else where he's appreciated and will get paid, because he is a talent. He is a top 10 running back in the league right now, and I'll venture to say he could be top 5. But he has to get on the field. And due to the fact they could not work out trade negotiations, now he's going to sit 4 weeks on the PUP list. And do I sound extra bitter? Yes, I'm a Wisconsin boy. He was a Wisconsin Badger. But Mike and I also, in our big money fantasy league auction draft, we drafted Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, there was definitely one team that wanted to have him on there, and that was you and I.
Yep, $18 we paid. $18 is a keeper league, and guess what? He's going to be gold, because when he comes back, and whoever he plays for, he's going to be a beast for $18. We're going to keep him, and the future's bright for him. But Jim Irsay, seriously, just sell the team, because you don't obviously care about football. You don't care about football, so you might as well go do something else. Go play tiddlywinks or whatever it is you do. Outside of that, we'll see what happens.
Okay, so now what we're going to do here on the first episode, it's going to be a little bit different, because normally on our Tuesday episodes, we're going to be giving you a full recap of what happened this previous weekend, any important going-ons, stuff that happened at the Westgate where we're watching football each week. But since there's no football to talk about yet, the Feather is going to take a look at some of the games coming up this upcoming Sunday, his early view, his early opinions on them. But also remember, we'll be back here in just a couple more days before the full slate of games begins with his official picks and his official feelings on the game. So as of right now, it's Tuesday afternoon. You've done your research, your early research.
Mm-hmm.
What games jump out at you? What things intrigue you for this upcoming Sunday in week 1?
I got a couple exciting games, so I'm not going to be giving any direct picks until Friday.
Which makes sense. Anything. Look at Kelce. Anything can happen in 24
it's super
hours.
early, but I'm going to touch on some great games for watchability, great games pertaining to fantasy football, and just all around a breakdown of a great game if you're a football fan. All right, so the first game we're going to cover for Sunday's slate, just to talk about, is going to be the Bengals at Browns. The Bengals are 2.5-point favorites. The Cleveland Browns at home. Deshaun Watson going to be making his first week 1 start in a couple years after his MassageGate situation. We all know about that, and that's enough said. We won't talk any further. It's going to be interesting. I mean, the bottom line is Nick Chubb, he's a bell cow back for Cleveland. He is a workhorse. He's a game changer. He's a guy that can put up 15, 1600 yards rushing, be good for 15 touchdowns. I mean, the sky's the limit. Amari Cooper, another top-end receiver that came from Dallas, and he's kind of settled in nicely. And if Watson can kind of get back to his old self, they're going to be looking good. And Cleveland has hope. I mean, it's a tough division, but if Deshaun Watson gets back to anything he used to be at Houston, they're going to be competitive for sure. Now, on the other side of the football, we're talking about the Bengals, Joe Burrow. The man, speaking of contracts, there's a contract on the table for him right now, ready to sign. Will it be off? Will it be accepted? I don't know. But that's kind of a breaking thing that happened today, that contract for Joe Burrow is available, and they need to sign him. He needs to get paid. Pay that man his money, because bottom line, the Burrow Chase connection is going to be unbelievable. They both stay healthy. And then this might be the last year with that offense intact, because you got T. Higgins that's going to become a free agent. You got Joe Mixon that took a little bit less money this year. But that team, it's going to be hard to keep them all. I mean, right now, I think that you can make the argument they have the best core 5 offensive skill players in the entire NFL.
So you think this is the win year, or else it's not going to hold together?
Well, it's going to be hard for me to imagine that they pay T. Higgins and Mixon next year. Chase is going to get his money. Burrow's getting his money. So, this is going to be a big push. Now, they're still going to be competitive if they lose one of those guys. But I think this year, I mean, they've been close. Like I said, they went to the Super Bowl. They lost. Last year, a little bit of heartbreak against Kansas City. Kansas City makes miracles happen. It's unbelievable. This guy, Patrick Mahomes, give hats off to him one more time. But this year's going to be different, I believe. So, basically, that's how I feel about that matchup. Early on, I definitely love the Bengals a lot. So tune in Friday, and I'll give further information as far as that's going to be one of my top picks of the week. But as far as that game goes, that's game 1 on the list. And as far as game 2, here's what we're looking at.
Okay, so next up, I think we have the 49ers are playing the
Steelers. So it's
Steel City
49ers at Pittsburgh Steelers. The Brock Purdy era begins. I mean, he was Mr. Irrelevant in the NFL draft a year ago. Became a starter due to massive injuries for the Niners last year, and he looked good all the way up until he got hurt also in the playoffs. And it was an unfortunate circumstance all around, but he's back on. He's QB number 1. They got a great offense. Christian McCaffrey is going to be coming back.
I think Christian McCurry is served at a Thai food place down the street from me. It's their NFL special. But yes, Christian McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, people. Anyway, he's outstanding. If he can stay healthy, he's RB1 in the whole league, and he's a beast. You got Deebo Samuel, you got Brandon Ayuk, you got George Kittle. The offense is dynamic, all anchored by the defense of Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa, another guy that's not under contract, but is on the table as well as of today. Will he sign it and get on the field? We'll have to wait and see. But San Francisco is a dynamic team, arguably a top 3 defense in the entire NFL.
How I know it's not new news, but how ironic is it that with everything that San Francisco gave up for Trey Lance, that their franchise QB of the future might be the guy nobody wanted, and they could have gotten literally for free. And that's the era they're moving to. If Purdy doesn't work out, I'm not sure the 49ers might be rebuilding for quite some time.
Yeah, so Kyle Shanahan actually went on record finally saying that basically the trade was horrendous and they made a grave mistake in what they did. They leveraged their team for the future for one guy, and sometimes that works. But when you take a big-ass swing like that and it doesn't work, it's crippling. And this one is maybe will go down as maybe perhaps the worst draft day trade in the history of the NFL or sports altogether. We'll see. Trey Lance went to Dallas.
They can have
So
him.
they can have him. Who knows what that future brings? I mean, but yeah, it's tricky. San Francisco is in a good position now. We'll see where the quarterbacks, how Purdy does. On the other side of the ball, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a blue collar town. It's a blue collar team. Focused on running, but now they're bringing in Mr. Kenny Pickett, dynamic quarterback that has lots of potential, going to his receiver George Pickens. Pickett the Pickens. We're going to hear that a lot.
Realize that.
Pickett the Pickens. We're going to hear Pickett the Pickens a lot this year. But they also have a good wide receiver in Deontay Johnson. He's a solid player. Now, wide receiver Allen Robinson signed with the team. It is his third team in as many years. He's trying to find a home, but he was once touted as a really dynamic receiver that the Bears basically destroyed, like they seem to wreck a lot of players' futures. But he hasn't ever quite recovered.
No bias whatsoever in that statement, I believe.
He has never quite recovered, a la Jay Cutler. And as far as that goes, I mean, that's going to be a great game, though. I think Steelers at home. Najee Harris, the running back for the Steelers, is a beast, and that game is tough. I mean, it's right now it's the line slated at 2.5, I believe, 2.5 Niners, and stay tuned for Friday because I got something to say about it. But it's going to be a fun game and entertaining for all the people to watch, and that's the second game. As far as the third game, Mike, what do we got on tap?
So the next game up, I mean, it's kind of an irrelevant game. We've already pretty much established earlier the Lions are winning their division, but I believe it's the Wisconsin Packer, Green Bay something or other versus the Chicago Bears. And now, can you promise me you're going to give us your unbiased opinion on this one?
Okay, I am very passionate about my Green Bay Packers. I'm going to put that out there. I'm a diehard Packer fan, but when I do make my picks, when there's money at hand, cash is king. But that being said, I'm going to tell you what I think and what I believe, and I do believe it to be true that the Green Bay Packers are going to be an outstanding team this year. They're going to shock the world. I'm going to tell you right now, run to Vegas, run to your local bookie. Green Bay, 7.5 point over-under total wins. You can take it to the bank. It's my first 5-star lock of the decade. Green Bay, 7.5 wins. You take the over to the bank all day. I don't care how you want to do it. Take out a second mortgage.
Okay,
spend your kids' college loan.
His own and do not reflect any gambling advice whatsoever or financial ideas that you should sell anything whatsoever. But I will say one thing. We discussed this before, and I was totally against 7.5 wins on the Packers this season. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that definitely is something I believe in more. But we got to see the Jordan Love era.
I mean, I'm glad you're going to kind of seeing the light a little bit. So that's good.
Yeah, well,
Jordan Love is the official starter. And as far as Jordan Love goes, I know that the Bears and the fans have been waiting for this moment they thought they were free of basically being dominated when Brett Favre left. Okay. Then in came Aaron Rodgers, the Chicago Bears daddy.
Hey, I'm your daddy. I'm your daddy.
And, and he's basically been whipping them forever. The Chicago Bears have not beat the Green Bay Packers since 2018. I mean, a lot's happened since then. He is now gone, but the pain is still there.
Did you did you just I guess technically now that you're in sportscasting here, did you just do the sportscaster jinx curse where since they've never lost since 2018, it's almost a mortal lock? They get blown out and Jordan Love goes down in the first series and that's the end of the season?
No.
Did you just put the jinx on him?
No.
All right.
No.
We'll see in about 5 days.
That came true with the Kelce curse on accident, but
all right.
As far as Jordan Love goes, he's going to be the guy. He has all the intangibles. He's talented. The guy is a prototypical 6'4", 6'5" quarterback. Great arm. Seems to be very accurate. The receiving core, super young. A lot of talent there. Christian Watson was probably the last 8 games of the year the best receiver in the NFL. Statistically, and Romeo Doubs and Jalen Reed, also 2 young wide receivers, very talented. The Packers in general, they are the youngest team in the NFL right now, and a lot of potential there. And as far as Chicago goes, Justin Fields is trying to make his, it's his second year. He had a good year last year. He's running all over the place. He's trying to establish a passing game because running all over the place, we know that leads to injury, a la Lamar Jackson and a whole bunch of other people. So we're going to find out how his passing game is going to be this year. But he got a lot of help. The Bears had a great draft pick this year because of the fact they were the Bears and they were terrible. But due to that, they ended up parlaying into a whole bunch of a great pick package. They got DJ Moore, wide receiver DJ Moore, which is I as a Packer fan, I wanted DJ Moore. So this guy could be dynamic. Hopefully his career will not be ruined like many others going to the Chicago Bears. But I think they have a good chance. I mean, outside of DJ Moore, though, Khalil Herbert is kind of a question mark at running back. And the Bears defense is mediocre at best. And in regards to the rest of the offense, not to offend anyone from the city of Chicago, but they're kind of a coupling of misfit toys. So we'll find out what's going to go on with Chicago and the Bears. Right now it's Chicago -1. And you'll have to wait and see come Friday if I have a pick. Because trust me, I'm talking passionate. I believe what I'm saying. But trust me, I'm not going to give you a pick based on this heart. I'm going to give you the pick based on right here. So anyway, enough about that. We won't talk anymore about the ham and egg or Chicago Bears. But on to the next team. What else do we got, Mike?
All right, so the last one we're going to look at today is one of the afternoon games from this Sunday. It's two teams that I have no love lost for either of them. It's the Eagles at the Patriots. The Eagles are favored by 3.5, I believe. So this is an interesting matchup because the Patriots seem to be on the verge of utter shoddiness towards the end of last season, and they kind of turned around. Mac Jones stuck around. Looks like they might be building. The Eagles, of course, unfortunately, were just one of the most dominant teams. Jalen Hurts threw the ball like a madman. Like when he needed to be there, he was. So it's like a rebuilding Patriots and a strong Eagles. But this could have been this decade ago. You flip it around, and the Patriots would have been crushing the Eagles all day. What's your thought here on this one?
This game's pretty wild. Vegas has this one Eagles by 3.5, and that game has went down. I think it was maybe around 5 or 5.5, and it's been going down and down and down. It's at about 3.5 right now. All I can say is 2 words: Bill Belichick. The guy is a genie. He figures out a way to get it done, and it's at home in Foxborough. And the history of the Patriots since Bill Belichick and opening games at home and home openers, I mean, speak for themselves. And now you got Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles that are the big boys on the block in the NFC and super talented. They're deep at wide receiver. They got a stable of good running backs. And I mean, really good tight end, really good defense, young coach that's bringing a new dynamic to the team.
Super Bowl season hangover, or do you think they're going to run away with it again?
Well, traditionally, that's kind of been the hang up there is that the teams that have been going to the Super Bowl the last couple of years, usually the next year fall on their face, right? That's been over like a 20-year span. That's been a pretty good tradition. One thing I can say about the Eagles is in their division, there hasn't been a repeat division winner, I think, in 20 years, roughly. So it's between the 4 teams within the division, the Cowboys, Washington, Eagles, Giants. No one has repeated the division in ballpark 20
That's
years.
interesting, actually. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's been a very good blend too. It looks like a checkerboard. Like it's, even Washington has stamped a couple division victory when the titles in there. So based on that, it doesn't bode well for the Eagles based on 20 years of history, but they seem like they're the most talented in the division. Probably pretty close to the best defense in the division. But we'll see. And of course, your Giants and then also the Cowboys have something to say about that. So it's a big year for Mac Jones, okay? Mac Jones did struggle. He kind of came back around again. This is going to be an important year for him because they're going to, he very well could either extend his future with the Patriots or he could be done. It's that simple. It's one of those things the Patriots don't tolerate mediocrity, and if he's not cutting the mustard, I have no doubt that Bill Belichick probably has Tom Brady on speed dial by halftime on Sunday. That he'll be sending them texts. Tom, I love you. Can we rekindle? It could happen. They got a love-hate relationship, but Tom Brady is available, and I think he's probably getting a little bit bored. So stay tuned on that. Who knows if he might be playing again this year? Anything's possible. But yeah, as far as that goes, it's going to be an exciting game. We'll go from there and see what happens. But the Bill Belichick and the Patriots are going to try to pull the upset on week 1 in Foxborough, and we'll see if that's going to happen. Stay tuned.
All right, yeah. So our last game is actually the first game of the NFL season. We talked about it briefly, but now let's just dive into a little bit looking at it, and that is going to be the Detroit Lions at the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting game. What a way to kick off the season. We got the Chiefs defending Super Bowl champions against the up-and-coming Detroit Lions.
Jared
right
Goff.
now, yeah, Jared Goff, the man. I mean, right now we got the line sitting at, and it's going to be a volatile line. It was sitting at about 6.5. It's gone all the way down to 5 in some places, 5.5, due to Travis Kelce's injury. We'll see in the next 48 hours where that's going to shake out. I'm leaning towards he will not be playing, is what I feel, and the line is going to probably drop below 5 most likely, but we'll see. It's going to be exciting. I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes and kind of another mix-up of wide receivers. The Chiefs drafted a couple wide receivers. They got Sky Moore, that is up and coming, second-round draft pick from last year. Especially with no Travis Kelce, he's going to need to pick up the slack and do a lot better. Kadarius Toney, another guy, and then of course MVS from Green Bay. He came over last year and he was mediocre. I mean, he's finding his footing, but the key is that Patrick Mahomes can make any of these guys look really good. That's his ability. That's his skill set. So which one's going to end up prospering? They need to improve though, especially with Travis Kelce potentially missing long-term games. Someone's got to step up or that team is going to kind of crumble, unfortunately. On the side of the Lions, Jared Goff, he's rekindled a new footing in Detroit. He's looking great. Helps that he has Amon St. Brown at wide receiver. The guy is dynamic and he's got a lot of potential. Could easily be a 1,300-yard receiver this year. 10-plus touchdowns for sure, I would believe. Then you got a rookie running back in Jahmyr Gibbs, which is an absolute beast, and people are really high on him in the fantasy world and in the reality world. The guy's a young talent, and he's coupled with a two-headed running back monster in David Montgomery from the Chicago Bears. It's a good 1-2 punch there, and I think the star of the team right now is Dan Campbell. They are buying into what Dan Campbell, head coach of the Detroit Lions, is saying. He got them hyped last year. They started off really slow and went 1-6, and they went on to win 8 out of 10. Yeah. I mean, that's unbelievable. And a lot to be excited for in Detroit right now for the fans. And as a Packer fan, I welcome the competition, but I think in the end, they're like the little brother, and the big brother Green Bay is going to rise above them at the end of the year, but that's a whole nother topic. But for this game's purposes, I'm really liking Detroit in this one. I'm taking Detroit and the points, 5.5 all day long. Travis Kelce's not going to play. Detroit's going to be hungry. They're going to come on this stage and they want to prove something. Patrick Mahomes was 5-0 on week 1 starts in his career. It is now going to be 5-1. The Detroit Lions are going to run away with this one. I believe they're going to win it outright. But for sure, take the points, 5.5. Detroit plus 5.5, and it's going to be a good game.
Now, actually, I'm curious, in non-sports relating topics for this game, Patrick Mahomes isn't the type of player I can imagine that, let's just say they finally suffer their first week 1 loss to Detroit. I mean, which would not be disrespectful, but do you think it affects them at all this season, or is he going to see that as like, now I'm going 15-1 this season instead of 16-0?
Patrick Mahomes is a competitor, so I think that if Travis Kelce doesn't play and the prognosis on him is, bright, and it's going to be a couple games and then we back. I think that either way they're professionals, and
they don't feel like a team that's going to collapse in on themselves as soon as they lose that one star player.
No, Andy Reid won't allow it. Andy Reid is a great coach. He's a Hall of Fame coach, and he'll keep that team focused. And it's in NFL, it's next man up, right? So, win or lose for either team, the season is bright for them. It's a tough matchup either way. I do think that Kansas City, if they go on to lose this game, which I believe they will, it's gonna be a hit, especially if Travis Kelce is out for an extended period of time.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's gonna leave people a lot of questions and a lot of concerns with this upcoming season. But a lot of game, we got 48 hours, a lot of information to come out yet in regards to Travis Kelce, and the game has to be played no matter what. So bottom line is, it's going to be exciting. I'm pumped up. I can't wait to watch every minute of it.
It's going to be a good time at the Westgate this weekend. If you're there, come by and say hi. We're there all day.
Yep, we'll be there at the Westgate this Sunday. I'll be there from 6 a.m. until the last game, Sunday Night Football, and it's going to be a blast. If you are in the area, you want to come down and say hi, watch some football, we'll be there all day and night.
So remember, we'll be back this Friday here on YouTube with a look at all the games coming up this Sunday, including the Feathers picks of the week. We'll look at any relevant player changes, injuries, fantasy news, all that stuff, a more in-depth analysis of all the games. And if you have any questions about who you should start, who you should sit in your fantasy leagues, questions about matchups this weekend's players, anything, as Jason says, sky's the limit, please leave us a comment down below, or you can reach out to us on Instagram at Mike and the Feather. Until we see you next time, I'm going to leave you with a funny video from a gentleman who was kind enough to work our auction draft this weekend for our Big Money League. He was in Vegas at 3 o'clock for the draft, and then in Arizona around 6 o'clock. We had a freak monsoon this weekend, and his plane got diverted while it was hovering over the airport. It was absolutely worth the wait. Vinny, this montage is for you. Thank you for being there, and thank you all for watching. Thanks for watching Mike and the Feather, Fade or Fly. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
$2,
$3,
$3,
5,
5, 6,
7.
7. 7 going once. 7 going twice. So, take care.
Elijah Moore for a buck.
Oh, Elijah Moore for a buck.
$3.
$3.
I already have one more.
$4 for Ray. Anyone else?
$5.
$5.
Elijah.
Anyone else?
6.
6. Okay. 6. 6 to Ray. Going once. 6 to Ray going twice. So! Yo, I will in a second.
It's okay.
Get on, get going, dude. I haven't gambled at all, dude. There's no shakes. Shakes.
Adam Thielen for $1.
Oh, Adam Thielen for $1. $2.
$3.
4, 3. What? Who got 2? We got 3. $3 going once. $3 going twice.
Whoa.
So! Greg the Legs Airline for a buck.
Ooh, say it again.
Greg the Legs Airline for a buck. Christian Kirk for $1.
Ooh.
$3 for Christian
$5.
Kirk. 4 for Christian Kirk.
$5.
5.
Good.
7. 7 for Kirk.
8.
8. 10. 11. 15. 16. 17. 18 right now for Christian Kirk. 19 for Christian Kirk going once. Going twice. 20. Going twice. So!